Major Tom Erickson stood on the observation deck of the International Space Agency, gazing at the stars that twinkled innocuously above. The calm was shattered when alarms blared suddenly, a stark reminder that peace was merely an illusion. Rushing to the command center, Tom encountered Director Hayes, who was coordinating with the global defense networks. "What's going on?" Tom asked, urgency in his voice. "We've intercepted an unidentified vessel entering our orbit," Hayes replied, his face tense as he motioned towards the radar screen displaying a fast-moving blip. "Origin?" "Unknown, but it's not responding to our hails," Hayes said, adjusting the communication link to try again. The room fell silent as the transmission crackled to life. A strained alien voice emerged, speaking in broken English. "Earth, you must listen. Danger. Coming. We are fleeing them." Tom stepped forward, his training kicking in. "This is Major Tom Erickson of the Earth Defense. Identify yourself and specify the nature of the threat." There was a pause, filled with static. "I am Soran of the Galdan. We are scouts, escaped. The Kriegan hunt us and all species. They will come for you next." The implications were dire. "How soon before they reach us?" "Days. Maybe less. Prepare." Soran's voice was filled with desperation. Hayes muted the comm, turning to Tom. "Get the defense ministers on the line. We need a meeting now." Minutes later, leaders from around the world appeared on the large screen, faces marked with concern. Tom outlined the situation. "We have credible intelligence of an impending attack by an alien species known as the Kriegan. Their intent is hostile, potentially existential." A German delegate interjected. "How do we know this isn't a misunderstanding? An alien ploy?" Tom was resolute. "The Galdan had nothing to gain by warning us. Our focus must be on preparation. We need a unified strategy to defend Earth." Discussions erupted, voices overlapping. It was the president of Brazil who called for order. "Major Erickson is right. Our petty disputes must be set aside. We face annihilation otherwise." As the meeting concluded with plans for a unified command under Tom's leadership, he knew the real work was just beginning. Exiting the room, he looked up once more at the stars, now a canvas for an imminent war. Preparations would start immediately. Earth would need every advantage, every strategy they could muster against the Kriegan threat. The game of survival was on, and humanity had to be ready to play. The tension in the Earth Defense Coalition's command center was palpable as Major Tom Erickson reviewed the latest satellite images. The dark shapes of Kriegan ships, unmistakable in their ominous design, were closing in on Earth's orbit. Beside him, Lieutenant Jenna Marks, his tactical advisor, pointed at the screen. "They're moving faster than any ship we've tracked before," Jenna observed, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Tom nodded grimly. "Any communications from them?" "Nothing. It's like they want us to feel the dread," Jenna replied, adjusting the frequency on the communications panel. Suddenly, an aide rushed in, handing Tom a tablet with live feed from a remote military outpost in Siberia. The feed showed dark silhouettes descending from the sky. "Sir, the Kriegan have initiated the first strike," the aide reported, urgency in his voice. Tom's jaw clenched. "Get me a line to that outpost, now!" The screen flickered, then cleared, showing Captain Ilyana Petrov, her face set in determination. "Major Erickson, we're under attack. The Kriegan have launched a ground assault. We are outnumbered but holding our ground." Tom's response was decisive. "Captain, reinforcements are en route. Hold them off at all costs." "Yes, sir," Ilyana replied before the feed cut out to static. Tom turned to his team. "Mobilize all units. This is not a drill." As forces were deployed, Tom and Jenna monitored the outpost's perimeter through satellite imagery. Explosions lit up the screen, each burst marking the resistance Earth was putting up. Jenna's voice broke the tense silence. "Their technology is decades ahead of ours. How do we counter such advanced weaponry?" "We adapt and survive," Tom stated firmly. "Use what we have to our advantage." Hours passed with reports flowing in. The Kriegan were relentless, but human forces were resilient, adapting urban warfare tactics to disrupt the invaders' advances. Finally, a call came through. Captain Petrov appeared on screen again, fatigue evident but her spirit unbroken. "Major, we've held them back for now. Casualties are high, but we've learned a lot about their combat strategies." Tom nodded, relief mixed with resolve. "Well done, Captain. We'll use this knowledge to our advantage. Prepare for extraction and regroup." As the call ended, Tom looked around at his team, their faces marked by both exhaustion and a newfound resolve. "This is just the beginning," he said. "The Krigan have shown their hand, and now it's our turn. We know they can be fought, and we know they can bleed. Let's get to work." The chapter closed on a world united in unprecedented solidarity, their resolve hardened by the fires of conflict, ready to stand against a formidable foe. In the dimly lit halls of the United Nations, Major Tom Erickson strode towards the assembly room, the weight of the world on his shoulders. His uniform, adorned with the insignia of the Earth Defense Coalition, EDC, bore silent testimony to the recent battle. Today, he was not just a soldier, but a symbol of Earth's urgent need for unity. As Tom entered the room, a hush fell over the gathered delegates. He wasted no time, his voice resonant and clear. "Ladies and gentlemen, the first attack was a test, not just of our defenses, but of our resolve. The Krigan will return in greater numbers." A murmur ran through the crowd. The delegate from India stood. "Major Erickson, while we appreciate the gravity of the situation, what assurances do we have that further militarization will protect us?" Tom met his gaze. "None. But I can assure you that without a unified defense, our chances diminish significantly. We've seen their technology, their tactics. We are adapting, but we need global commitment." The Chinese ambassador raised a hand. "What do you propose?" "Consolidate our resources," Tom replied. "Form a single, cohesive force under the EDC, standardize our weaponry, share intelligence, and train together. Fight as one." The room buzzed with whispered discussions and nods of agreement. The ambassador from Brazil stood next, her tone earnest. "Brazil recognizes the need for solidarity. We will support your proposal, Major." One by one, other nations voiced their support. The tide was turning, but the real work was just beginning. As the assembly adjourned, Tom felt a slight easing of the tension in his shoulders. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but now, at least, humanity would face it together. Outside the UN, Tom met with his advisors. "It's time to escalate our training programs. We need every soldier ready for what's coming." Lieutenant Marks, always by his side, handed him the latest intelligence report. "Sir, we've spotted more Krigan activity near Jupiter's orbit. Looks like they're not wasting any time." Tom glanced over the report, his mind racing. "Set up a meeting with the defense chiefs. We'll need to discuss positioning our fleets." Back at the EDC headquarters, Tom addressed a room full of military leaders and tacticians. His speech was impassioned, focusing on strategy, preparation, and the importance of agility in the face of a technologically superior enemy. "As we adapt our tactics, remember this," Tom concluded. "The Krigan have shown us they are formidable, but they have also shown us they are not invincible. Each ship we down, each skirmish we survive, we learn, we improve. That's how we'll win this war." After the meeting, as Tom walked through the corridors of the command center, he paused to observe the young soldiers training outside. Their determination fueled his own, reinforcing his belief that despite the odds, humanity's spirit could indeed turn the tide. The chapter concluded with Tom looking out over the base, a silent vow forming between him and the evening stars. A vow to protect, to fight, and ultimately to win. The war room at Earth Defense Coalition headquarters was a hive of strategic planning. Major Tom Erickson, standing firm before the digital world map, marked key points with a laser pointer, highlighting vulnerable Krigan positions. Around him, military leaders and technicians buzzed, cross-referencing data and adjusting their plans. "Jenna, ensure the assault teams are synced. The window is narrow and surprise is our best weapon," Tom instructed, his voice a calm command amidst the urgency. Lieutenant Jenna Marks, always reliable, nodded. "I'll personally oversee the final checks, Major. The teams are prepared and motivated." Today's mission, dubbed Operation Thunderstrike, was ambitious. It involved simultaneous strikes on Krigan outposts on Earth and a few select targets in orbit, exploiting newly discovered weaknesses in Krigan logistics and communication. Tom addressed the room, filled with the best pilots, special forces, and tacticians. "Today, we turn the tide. Use the shadows, strike hard, and disappear. Remember, our goal is to disrupt, not engage in prolonged combat." The operation kicked off at dusk. Stealth jets, cloaked in the latest adaptive camouflage, pierced the twilight skies. On the ground, elite squads, using the cover of newly erected urban ruins, advanced towards their objectives. Meanwhile, in space, Delta Squadron, piloted by the daring Captain Lucas Nguyen, maneuvered through the debris of shattered satellites to approach a Krigan supply station undetected. Back on Earth, the reports started coming in. The North African outpost was the first to confirm success. Explosives set off, crippling the enemy's communication array. Cheers erupted in the command center, but Tom remained focused, monitoring the unfolding operations. Jenna relayed real-time updates. Echo Team has taken out the radar station in the Pacific. Delta Squadron is now engaging the supply station. On the main screen, a live feed from Captain Nguyen's cockpit showed the precise moment they launched their torpedoes at the Kriegen station. A brilliant explosion blossomed in the void, signaling a critical blow to the enemy's resupply capabilities. As the night deepened, more reports of success flooded in. Yet the victory was not without cost. Tom knew every strike carried a price in lives and resources. As the last team reported in, Tom allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. Well done, everyone. Let's start planning our next moves. The Kriegen will retaliate, and we need to be ready. Under the barren surface of Mars, a revelation awaited. Major Tom Erickson sat in a briefing room, poring over the latest satellite images sent from the Martian rover. Beside him, Dr. Eliza Cortez, a leading astrophysicist and expert in extraterrestrial archaeology, pointed to an anomaly in the Valles Marineris. "We've detected unusual energy signatures here," Eliza explained, her finger tracing the deep canyon walls on the screen. "Initial scans suggest it's an ancient artifact, possibly predating known civilizations. It could be a weapon or a tool, but definitely alien technology." Tom's interest was piqued. Could this help us against the Kriegen? It's a long shot, but yes. If we can understand its function, we might unlock a new defense mechanism or even an offensive capability. Eliza responded with cautious optimism. Tom made the decision quickly. "Prepare a team. We're going to Mars." The journey to Mars was tense, with the threat of Kriegen interception looming every second. Upon landing, Tom led a specialized unit to the coordinates. The Martian winds howled through their suits as they descended into the canyon, the alien artifact glowing with a pulsating light that illuminated the rocky walls. "Look at this," Tom said, examining the intricate carvings on the artifact. "It tells a story, maybe a warning." Eliza, working on her portable scanner, nodded. "It's powered by something we've never seen. The energy output is off the charts. This could change everything." Their mission was complicated by a sudden attack. A Kriegen scouting party, drawn by the artifact's activation, ambushed them. Tom and his team fought back fiercely, using the rough terrain to their advantage. The battle was intense, but the humans prevailed, using their superior tactics and the element of surprise. With the Kriegen repelled, Eliza managed to interface with the artifact. "I've got it. It's a defensive shield technology, incredibly advanced, but I think I can integrate it with our systems." Tom's eyes lit up. "Do it. Every second counts." The return trip to Earth was a race against time. As they re-entered Earth's atmosphere, Tom felt a mix of relief and urgency. The artifact's technology was a beacon of hope, but they needed time to implement it effectively. Back at EDC headquarters, Tom briefed the Global Defense Councils. "This isn't just about surviving, it's about turning the tide. With this technology, we can protect our cities, our bases." Work began immediately. Scientists and engineers from around the globe collaborated, deciphering the alien technology and adapting it for human use. The potential of the Martian artifact brought a new energy to the war effort, galvanizing nations to contribute more resources. As the first shield generators came online, Tom watched the tests, a sense of accomplishment mingling with the relentless drive to keep pushing forward. "This is it," he thought. "We're not just on the defensive anymore." Back on Earth, Major Tom Erickson walked through the newly established command post where the Martian shield technology was being integrated into Earth's defenses. Alongside him, Dr. Eliza Cortez explained the adjustments needed to synchronize the alien technology with human systems. "We've managed to adapt the Martian artifact's energy signatures to work with our defense grids. It's delicate work, but preliminary tests are promising," Eliza reported, her eyes scanning the data on her tablet. Tom, observing the engineers and scientists bustling around the lab, felt a cautious optimism. "When can we deploy this on a larger scale?" "If everything goes according to plan, within the week," Eliza answered, her tone measured yet hopeful. The breakthrough couldn't have come at a better time. The Kriegen, sensing a shift in Earth's defensive capabilities, launched a fierce assault aimed at crippling Earth's space defenses. Tom, now back at EDC headquarters, coordinated Earth's response. His command center was a flurry of activity, tracking Kriegen movements and deploying countermeasures. "Alert all units! We need those shield generators operational now," Tom ordered, his voice cutting through the chaos. As the Krigon ships approached, the first of the new shield generators came online. A luminescent barrier sprung to life, encasing a critical satellite array in protective energy, just as a barrage of Krigan fire rained down. The alien energy dissipated upon contact with the shield, leaving the satellites unscathed. Cheers broke out in the command center, but Tom remained focused. Keep pushing. Every installation needs to be covered. With the shield technology proving effective, Tom initiated the next phase of his plan, taking the fight to the Krigan. Earth's forces, bolstered by newfound confidence in the protective shields, began aggressive sorties into space, targeting Krigan supply lines and scouting fleets. One particular mission stood out, a daring raid led by Captain Lucas Nguyen, who infiltrated a Krigan outpost near the asteroid belt. The operation not only disrupted Krigan operations, but also secured valuable intel on their battle tactics and technology. Major Erickson, the raid was a success. We've captured several high-value targets and recovered important data, Captain Nguyen reported during the debrief, his image flickering on the holoscreen. Tom nodded approvingly. Well done, Captain. Let's use this momentum. Analyze the data and prepare for the next push. As Earth's forces grew bolder, skirmishes in space became more frequent and intense. Each victory, each successful defense added layers to humanity's strategic depth, turning the tide of war gradually but indisputably in their favor. In the war room, Tom reviewed the latest battle reports. His strategy board lit up with markers and notes. The dynamic of the conflict had shifted, and he could feel the balance of power tilting. This war is far from over, but we're finally in a position to dictate some of the terms, he mused aloud. Determined to maintain the offensive, Tom planned the next series of operations. Earth was not just defending anymore, it was pressing its advantage, challenging the Krigan across multiple fronts, reshaping the battlefield with each encounter. The fight was hard and the cost high, but for the first time since the Krigan invasion began, victory seemed within reach. The early morning light crept over Earth's command center where Major Tom Erickson was finalizing plans for what was anticipated to be the defining battle against the Krigan. With Earth's new shield technology holding firm and their recent offensive successes boosting morale, humanity was poised for a significant confrontation. Reports indicate a large-scale mobilization of Krigan forces heading towards our primary defense grid, announced Lieutenant Jenna Marks as she displayed the incoming fleet's trajectory on the holographic map. Tom surveyed the data with a strategic eye. They're desperate. They know if they don't break us now, the momentum is ours to command. He convened a meeting with his top commanders and defense officials, outlining the plan of resistance. We will meet them head-on. Use the shields to our advantage and keep their forces divided. We strike decisively. As the Krigan fleet approached, cities around the world prepared for battle, their skies shimmering behind the protective shields. Tom coordinated the global defense from the command center, directing fighter squadrons and ground troops into position. The Krigan launched their assault with ferocity, bombarding the shields with advanced weaponry. The air vibrated with the energy of the collision, but the shields held, repelling the blasts and protecting the cities below. Amidst the chaos, Tom received a critical update. Major, we've identified the Krigan commander's ship. It's leading the assault directly above Sector 5. Tom recognized the opportunity to end the war. Deploy the strike team. I'll lead the charge. Boarding one of the EDC's fastest ships, Tom spearheaded a daring offensive. They maneuvered through the battle, dodging debris and energy blasts, until they were within range of the Krigan commander's vessel. With precise movements, Tom's team boarded the ship, engaging in intense combat with Krigan soldiers. The narrow corridors echoed with the sounds of gunfire and the clash of metal on metal. Tom pushed forward, driven by the stakes of this fight. Finally, he confronted the Krigan commander, a towering figure clad in battle armor. They exchanged blows in a fierce duel, each strike a testament to their resolve. Tom, utilizing a combination of human ingenuity and combat skill, managed to overpower the commander, disabling him and seizing control of the ship. With the Krigan commander captured and their flagship under human control, the remaining Krigan forces faltered. Seeing their leader defeated, their resolve waned, and they began to retreat. Tom, breathing heavily from the exertion, contacted Earth. The commander is in custody. Their flagship is ours. Stand down all forces. As the news spread, a wave of relief and triumph washed over the planet. People poured into the streets, celebrating the victory. Tom watched from the command ship, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. They had faced annihilation and stood firm, turning despair into victory. The final stand had indeed shifted the course of the war, setting the stage for a new era of peace and security. Earth had not only survived, it had emerged stronger, united by the common cause of defending their home. After the monumental victory, Earth's landscape was forever changed. Major Tom Erickson stood before the newly formed United Earth Council, a coalition of leaders and representatives from every nation, forged in the crucible of the war against the Krigan. The council chamber, a symbol of unity and cooperation, was filled with a sense of purpose as they discussed the future. Tom addressed the assembly, his voice carrying a mix of authority and humility. We've been given a second chance, not just to rebuild, but to redefine our place in the cosmos. We must use this opportunity to establish lasting peace and extend our hand to other civilizations. The council agreed, passing resolutions to strengthen Earth's defenses and to explore diplomatic relations with other galactic entities. The Krigan commander, now a prisoner of war, provided valuable insights into the galactic political landscape, which would aid in these diplomatic efforts. Meanwhile, cities were being rebuilt, incorporating both the technological advancements from the war and the alien technology recovered from the Krigan. Tom visited these sites frequently, meeting with community leaders and citizens, ensuring that the rebirth of these urban centers was aligned with the ideals of resilience and innovation. In the rebuilt Central Park of New York City, a monument was erected, commemorating those who had fallen during the war. Tom stood before it, the names of fallen comrades and civilians etched into the stone, a somber reminder of the cost of freedom. As he laid a wreath, Tom reflected on the journey. We fought not just against invaders, but against our own fears and divisions. Let this monument remind us of what we can achieve when united. The news of Earth's victory and its open invitation for dialogue resonated throughout the galaxy. Alien races, once skeptical of human intentions, began to view Earth as a beacon of stability and a potential ally. Delegations from various planets visited Earth, initiating talks that were once deemed impossible. Amidst these diplomatic advancements, Tom took a more personal journey. He visited schools and academies, sharing stories of the war, not to glorify the conflict, but to inspire a new generation to value peace and aspire to be guardians of their world. One evening, as Tom watched a sunset from the same observation deck where the war had first touched Earth, Jenna Marks joined him, her presence a comfort. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" she asked, her gaze on the horizon. Tom nodded, his eyes reflective. "Yes, we have. But this is just the beginning. We have the chance to mold a future where war is an anomaly, not an inevitability." As the sun dipped below the skyline, casting long shadows over the city, Tom felt a profound connection to Earth and its inhabitants. The planet had survived, its people had thrived, and now they looked to the stars not with fear, but with hope and a sense of responsibility. The war had ended, but for Major Tom Erickson and all of humanity, a new chapter was just beginning, one filled with potential, guided by the lessons of the past and a relentless pursuit of a peaceful future.